Okay, today's lesson is going to be very short. It's 1.10, solving compound inequalities. We are not going over the warm-ups. You guys should remember these. Let's just go over it real quick. Now, this right here, this and this, it means a solid dot. X is smaller than 2. Solid dot smaller than 2 is right here. See, this is your 0. So this way is smaller than 2. This is x or equal to, I'm sorry. X is bigger than or equal to 2. Right here is bigger than. This way is going bigger. When you read these, you want to read them from x. X is bigger than 2, and it's an open dot. Bigger than 2, open dot. X is smaller than 2, open dot. There you go. Okay, you should know how to solve inequalities. Now we're going to move on to the important stuff. These are called compound inequalities. They're two inequalities connected by an and, or, and or. They can also be written, example 3 can be written, x is greater than or equal, or greater than 3, and x is smaller than 4. This is, an or is a choice, right? I'm either going to give you $1 million or, I don't know, steal your dog. I'm going to give you a choice. What do you want? Give you $1 million, steal your dog. You get to choose. And is not a choice. I'm going to give you $1 million and steal your dog. You can have my dog for $1 million. You can and my dog. Okay, and means both. Or means either one. All right. Okay, here's how you graph them. This right here, number 5, do you see an and in number 5? So that means it's a, sorry, I said that backwards. Do you see an or in number 5? That means it's an and. See right down here, we have the or. If you see the or, it is an or. If you see the or, it is an or. If you don't see anything, it's an and. So number 5 is an and. It's both. What are my numbers? The first thing I do, I put my numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are my numbers, okay? Now, this says, always read it from the x. X is bigger than 0. What kind of dot do I put at 0? Open or closed? Open, because it's not or equal to. And x is bigger. Which way is bigger? To the right. Now, also, so don't go anywhere. Don't finish. Don't put an arrow. X is smaller than 4. What kind of dot do I put at 4? Open or closed? Now, which way is smaller than 4? That's it. There's no arrow because they connect. And connects. Or separate. So here we go with the or. What are my numbers? I have a 1 and I have a 2. Is 1 open or closed? Open. Is 2 open or closed? Open. Now this is an or, so they go separate directions. That's all it is. If you don't see an or, they connect. If you see an or, they separate. Now, sometimes you will see an and. Look here. There, number 15 is an and. That means, and means they what? They connect. Now, there's one last thing we have to go over. It's not a little tougher. Don't listen to that. You must isolate the variable between the two inequalities. So here I have an inequality here, correct? And here. They're not equal signs, but they act like equal signs. So this makes really two separate problems. I have to get my x by itself. What do I have to get rid of to get x by itself? -2. How do I get rid of -2? I add 2. If I add 2 here, I have to add 2 here, and I have to add 2 here. I have to add 2 to all sides now. Not both sides, all sides. So this cancels, leaving me -x. This cancels, leaving me 0. And then here's my inequality, less than or equal to. Here's my inequality, less than or equal to. And then that's a 3. Is my x all by itself? No. Nope, there's a -1 right here. So I have to divide everything by -1. Uh-oh, I divided by a negative, didn't I? That means I have to flip this inequality, and I have to flip this inequality. 0 divided by -1 is 0. This leaves me with my x. 3 divided by -1 is -3. So now, that seems very confusing. And it is. But let's just take, what are my numbers? What are my numbers? I have a 0 and I have a what? -3. So with my 0, do I have an open or closed dot? With my -3, do I have an open or closed dot? Do you see or? No, so that means they connect. That's the most important part. If you don't see or, they connect. Number 12 is an or. Number 12 is actually a lot easier because this is actually two different problems. I'm going to solve this one first. For x is less than 8, greater than 8, x is greater than 2. Now I solve this one. +1, 5x is greater than -5. Less than. X is less than -1. What are my two numbers? Well, I have 2 and I have -1. They're both open dots. I see an or, so they go opposite directions. Now, if you wanted to split this number 11, if you want to split number 11 into 2, you can. So you see this right here? That is one problem. -4 is less than or equal to 2x minus 6. This is one problem. (2x minus 6 is less than or equal to 12. You can split those into two different problems and solve them. Now, they're going to connect, aren't they? Because I don't see an or. I don't like to do this. To me, that's a lot of work. I just simply like to put lines at my inequalities. First thing I'm going to do is add 6 to everything, right? 2 is less than or equal to 2x, which is less than or equal to 18. Now I have to divide everything by 2. And if you're watching this, please feel free to stop if I'm going too fast for you. There we go. I put up 1 and 9. Here's my 1. Here's my 9. They're both closed dots, right? You see an or? They connect. All right. Okay. If you have any questions, please come in. Love you. Have a nice day.